Tyson Fury knocked out Deontay Wilder in 7 rounds in emphatic fashion in their rematch in Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Remstar Says So. Okay, let's get right into this one, guys. Tyson Fury knocks out Deontay Wilder in 7 rounds. Tyson Fury is the new WBC heavyweight champion, the new Ring Magazine champion, and he retains his lineal championship. That fight was absolutely nuts. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't watch that fight, shame on you. And if you watched it on some little jittery illegal streams instead of paying £25 or the $75, shame on you. Sometimes you just have to understand there is a time and a place, and sometimes you've got to put your hands in your pockets. Most of you guys that go out on the piss most weeks, spending 60, 70, 80, 90, £100 on a night out, you don't think twice. But when it comes to supporting heavyweights, the two best heavyweights at the time, 1 versus 2, to decide who is the #1 guy, people have got an issue. The amount of people that I had asking me all day to send them a link, and I was just like, just buy the fight. Even people I know with little dodgy boxes, whose boxes turned into Spanish commentary at some point during the fight, asking for links, and I was just like, nah, this is dead. This is the two best heavyweights putting their lives on the line, and somebody was probably going to get knocked out. It was just the person I wasn't expecting it to. Let's be honest, before this fight, every single person thought Tyson Fury would win on points or Deontay Wilder would win by a knockout. Tyson Fury basically ripped up the rule book, said fuck that, and changed the game plan. Deontay Wilder, I don't know what was happening to him yesterday. He was on an off night, but let's just start from the beginning. The fight starts and Tyson Fury comes out the traps. He's feinting, he's jabbing, he's moving. He's doing exactly what you would expect of Tyson Fury. Leading with a strong jab, taking Wilder, pushing Wilder backwards on the back foot, hits him with some powerful punches, hits him with a few right hands, but nothing really telling. Deontay Wilder feels those punches and starts to respect Tyson Fury's power. Let's not forget, in the build-up to this fight, Deontay Wilder had said that Tyson Fury had pillow fists. So, you know, maybe those pillow fists were sort of loaded up with rocks in the pillowcases. Who knows? But, you know, it was a completely different Tyson Fury to the one that we had seen nearly a year and a half ago back in 2018. Tyson Fury was just out of the sort of traps, doing exactly what he needed to do. After that, Deontay Wilder comes out in the 2nd round and he actually starts to box. He's jabbing. He's actually putting together a very good jab. I think one of the things that people really underestimate about Deontay Wilder is that he doesn't just have power in the right hand. He's got a very strong jab when he actually decides to use it. And he started boxing fairly well. As I said, he was pushing Fury back and he hit him with 2 right hands. Fair enough, they weren't clean right hands, and I think Tyson Fury was able to sort of ride the punishment and really sort of take minimal impact of those right hands. But trust me, Tyson Fury was feeling it. That was a very close 50-50 round. Me personally, I had given that round to Deontay Wilder, but, you know, if you had given it to Fury, I wasn't going to argue. It's just that, you know, I think Wilder hit him with 2 clean, well, not 2 clean, but he hit him with 2 right hands, and he was throwing out a decent jab, and I think he was a little bit more aggressive. The 3rd fight comes out, and I don't know what JDS and Mark Breland had said to Deontay Wilder in that 1-minute rest, but everything that they had sort of worked on just went out the window. Now, I don't really get it. Deontay Wilder started to box and started to jab, but in the 3rd round, he just started getting bullied. Tyson Fury was just inflicting his will on Wilder at will, inflicting his will on Wilder whenever he wanted to, hitting him with combinations, feinting, and Wilder just didn't know what to do. Tyson Fury hit him with a hook that dropped him, and wow, he dropped him hard. Deontay Wilder was the person in the build-up to this fight shouting timber, but it was him who went down. When he came up, he was bleeding profusely from his ear. It looks like Tyson Fury has burst Deontay Wilder's eardrum, and it sounds like, you know, he's got a perforated ear or something like that, and the blood was just stemming and flowing from his ear. I'm sure Deontay Wilder's team and cut team did everything they could, but you know, how exactly do you hold up and heal up a cut inside of your ear when the blood is just flowing out? From there, Deontay Wilder was pretty much a sitting duck, and then it was just sort of downhill from there. I think, from what I've been told by people that work in the medical sort of profession, you know, if you have a perforated eardrum, or if you burst your eardrum, whatever you want to call it, it can absolutely throw off your balance. It can throw off your equilibrium. It can, in sometimes, also affect your vision. And let's not forget, that must have been excruciating pain. Plus the fact that you've got 20,000 screaming fans in there, all rooting for their man. And Deontay Wilder just kept going. So, you know, that was the end of the third round. The fourth round comes out and Tyson Fury is just sort of inflicting more sort of damage on him, loading up with the combinations, throwing a few right hands, and I think they went into like a little bit of a wrestling match, and I think Tyson Fury sort of wrestled him to the ground. The referee waved his hands off to say no, that was it was like a slip, or it was a push, not a knockdown, and Tyson Fury won that round as well. Going into the fifth round, Tyson Fury starts punishing Wilder with more damage, and he manages to drop him again, and Deontay Wilder just literally starts swinging from the hill, doing everything he can to try and get Tyson Fury out there, because he knew he was in danger. Before this fight, I can say, like, I was thinking Deontay Wilder was going to beat him by a knockout, but you know, it just wasn't meant to be. My brother picked me up to go to his house to watch this fight, and it's actually quite a funny one. When he picked me up, he said, "What, you are you confident on Wilder?" And I was just like, "No." And he's like, "Why?" And I told him, like, every single Deontay Wilder fight, before the fight, it doesn't matter who he's ever fought, I've always felt really nervous and really anxious. Like, I get it, Deontay Wilder is not the best boxer out there, or let's say, for example, he doesn't use his boxing skills at all. I think he just uses more the fact that he's got power in the right hand, and he can windmill and swing from the hills when he needs to get himself out of danger. Deontay Wilder doesn't really box as much as he should, and I think that will always be a sort of downfall. The fact that, you know, you're in there with a boxer who then turned into boxer puncher, and all you're waiting for is to try and land the big right hand. And the fact is, he wasn't masking it, he wasn't telegraphing it. I think Deontay Wilder probably used anything from about 40 to 60% of his energy in the first round, swinging and hitting fresh air time and time and time again. It wasn't looking pretty for him. And I remember saying to my brother, I was like, look, this was at the end of the fifth when Tyson Fury was just literally having his way with him. I was like, if Wilder hits the canvas one more time, the referee is going to stop this fight. But the fact is, one thing I have to give to Deontay Wilder, he has got the heart and soul of a lion, of a champion. He was there and he was in it, and he was still trying to see if he could land that big right hand. But the fact is, Tyson Fury, you know, he sees it from a mile off. He saw it in the first fight, and he saw it even more in the second. Deontay Wilder really needed to do something, but I think he was probably in so much pain that all he was doing was just sitting there, soaking up the pressure, hoping for that split-second mistake from Tyson Fury. But I think Tyson Fury probably analysed the first fight, analysed the rematch Wilder had with Ortiz, and just realised, you know, you've got to be in there. Before the fight, Tyson Fury also said he wasn't going to go to the judges. I think Tyson Fury was quite upset after the first fight, after the controversial draw. But, you know, I've already touched on this before. I've already mentioned the fact that, you know, it was a late count and the count was slightly slow. And then the referee had him running to the sides like The Rock doing the people's elbow. There was a lot of controversy, but, you know, this time Tyson Fury wasn't going to make that same mistake. He went up to 273 pounds, and before the fight he did say he was going to be around the 270 mark, so he done exactly what he said he would. Wilder went up to a career heaviest 231, and I think that might have been like his downfall. One of my friends texted me at the time and he said Wilder's too heavy, and at first I thought it was fine, because I think Wilder is exactly what they say is, the perfect athlete. He put on lean muscle mass, but I think one of his issues that he had is that it was all upper body muscle mass. There was no lower body, and maybe his skinny legs probably couldn't handle the extra weight that he was carrying. Also, he didn't have any time to get used to this. This is the first time that Wilder has fought this heavy, and it's actually quite strange to think of it, that a man who is 6'7" fighting at a career heaviest 231 pounds. I mean, that's not exactly heavy at all, especially for a man of that size. I know two people that are both 6'7", and if I was a betting man, I'd probably say they're both a lot heavier than 231 pounds. I haven't actually put together the little calculation yet, but I'm pretty sure they probably are. There we go, 16 and a half stones. Well, I know at least one of them is, possibly the other one, or maybe, who knows. That's not that heavy for a guy of that height. 16 and a half stones, like, but you know, it was a career high. Anyway, let's get back onto this. So going into the 6th, and Tyson Fury is just unloading combinations, letting Wilder taste the right hand, and Wilder is just hanging on there for dear life. How Deontay Wilder didn't hit the canvas for the 3rd time was beyond me. But Tyson Fury, he was being a little bit foul. He was doing a few headlocks, looked like he wanted to drop him with a DDT. I know that Tyson Fury has done a bit of wrestling in the past. I know he had a fight with Braun Strowman, and maybe he was trying to use some of those tactics, and the referee did deduct a point. But, you know, you could say too little too late. But, you know, I think Wilder was done for from the 3rd round. I think the injury that Wilder sustained was exactly the same injury that AJ got in the first fight against Ruiz, that hit to the dome. But I actually think that Wilder's injury was a lot worse, because he was bleeding profusely out of that ear. And I think once that came, it was just over. Come the 7th round, and Tyson Fury has literally got Deontay Wilder backed up on the ropes, and he's literally just unloading at will. It looks like Jay Diaz had thrown the towel in, and then the match doctor got up to get the referee's attention and pointed, and the referee waved off the fight. Deontay Wilder was absolutely livid. He was asking the ref why he was stopping the fight when he was still on his feet, and the referee said look, and pointed to the fact that the towel was in. Jay Diaz had actually thrown the towel in. After the fight, Wilder went storming over to his corner, asking his trainer why he threw in the towel, and he said it was mainly because of the fact that, you know, he wasn't throwing any punches and he was bleeding profusely. Tyson Fury put together a perfect game plan. He put together a game plan I didn't think he could do. I thought that this fight was a 50-50 fight. And just like many people out there, I thought that Tyson Fury would either win on points or Deontay Wilder would win on knockout. I didn't think that Tyson Fury was ever going to be able to put together them sort of power shots, sit on his shot and go forward. Tyson Fury even showed a very weird sort of a weird side to him. When Deontay Wilder was bleeding, Tyson Fury started licking the blood off his neck. And I was just like, what kind of freaky gypsy vampire shit is this? But, you know, such is life. Tyson Fury is the new lineal WBC and Ring Magazine champion. For me, Tyson Fury is the #1 heavyweight in the world. He went to Dusseldorf and he beat Vladimir Klitschko, and he went to Las Vegas and he's now beaten Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder does have an opportunity to exercise a rematch clause, and he's got 30 days to do so. The pundits on BT Sports, well, they said that Deontay Wilder, if he does take the rematch, it has to be done by June. I don't know about the validity of that, but if it is in June, I would fancy Fury to do it again. If Wilder can find some way to push this rematch back to about September or October, maybe I'd give him a chance. But if he's stepping in the ring in another 3.5 months, you know, what can I say? I think it's going to end the same way. I think some of the issues that Wilder had was, one, he had fought 3 months to the day prior. It was only 3 months ago he fought Luis Ortiz in a very hard-fought fight. Went 7 rounds and he knocked him out. But a lot of people will say that he lost the first 6, maybe 7 rounds until he knocked him out in that 7th. So it's like he didn't really have any time to rest and went straight back into training camp. I couldn't tell you the last time Deontay Wilder fought within 3 months of each other, but it's definitely not been for a long time, especially during his 5 years of being heavyweight champion. But what can I say? Deontay Wilder, you know, he's had a good run. 5 years of champion, 10 title defenses. He lost it on the 11th. Many a man has done that. let's not forget Muhammad Ali put in 10 title defenses and lost on his 11th as well. Tyson Fury is the real deal, and for me, he's the number one. I think that he beats AJ, and I think if Wilder can sort of heal his injuries and come again, I think he'd probably beat AJ as well. All I can do is take my hats off. At the end of the day, I've never made any sort of qualms of trying to hide the fact that I am a Deontay Wilder fan, and I know a lot of people that listen to this channel, some of you guys are as well, but Deontay Wilder was just outdone by the better man. There's a lot of factors that you can say, you know, extra weight, also being fatigued from fighting 3 months prior, but would any of that have made a difference had he had taken a longer rest before coming into the fight? I don't think so. Let's not forget, Tyson Fury had sacked his trainer, Ben Davison, and brought in Sugar Hill because he wanted a knockout. I have been put on record saying that, you know, it wasn't enough time to implement a knockout strategy, but how wrong was I? Tyson Fury put together a perfect game plan, and he executed it. Deontay Wilder is now the former champion. He's got 30 days. Do I think that Wilder should execute his rematch clause? Well, I don't know. If he's got a fight again in June, probably not. But the amount of money on the table, it's a hard one to walk away from. Let's not forget, these guys were guaranteed 25 million each. Bob Arum has said previously that the loser would get a 60-40 split. So even if, I don't know, if the original pot was 50 million, even if the pot is smaller, Wilder might be getting like a guaranteed pot of like 15 million in the rematch. Who knows? It depends on what the pot looks like and where the fight's going to be. But, you know, as I said, we've got a new heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury. I think he's the main guy. Eddie Hearn has put a tweet out straight away to say Fury versus Joshua. But, you know, I think that Tyson Fury should honour the rematch if Wilder wants it. And even if he doesn't, I could see Bob Arum putting him in with somebody at top rank, maybe a Ajit Kabiao, maybe a Big Baby Miller. Who knows? There's a lot of options out there, but Tyson Fury is the man right now. I hope he's having a great time. Commiserations to Deontay Wilder. He's been a great champion to watch, and hopefully he can regain his belt, if not straight away, one day in the future. I think he's still got a lot to offer in this game. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this fight. Leave a comment, hit like, hit subscribe, share the video. That's the end of the show, because Remstar says so.